Western Spring Television, ours it is.
The Ministry of Transportation in OSUN State was an offshoot of the Office of Transportation created by the defunct All Progressive Congress government with the upgrade of the Office of Transportation to a full-fledged ministry. Governor Ademola Adeleke is responding to the needs of the people in terms of cheap transportation for social and economic activities, as well as connecting the state more to its neighbors. The ministry is now in a position to carry out the mandate given it by Governor Adeleke, which will birth a new transportation policy with a wide scope that embraces private and public sector investment. What effort are authorities of the Transportation Ministry making to key into the requirement of affordable, cost-effective transportation that can balance relationships between the state government and private sector? How is the ministry sustaining the equilibrium of peace within the once volatile transport unions in the state? Today on Living Spring Update, we'll take a look at how the Ministry of Transportation has succeeded in setting the standard for a public transport system that satisfies expectations of the people and government as a social and economic venture. My name is Tomilola Daniel, your uncle, and this is episode 11 on Living Spring Update.
The Ministry of Transportation, established a little over a year ago, is meeting a wide range of new requirements which transportation has thrown up for government and the people of OSUN State. Figures from the ministry indicate a readiness to turn these requirements into realistic benefits that will boost the socio-economic development of OSUN State. The Transportation Ministry evolved into a full-fledged ministry, but not without challenges of infrastructure, funding, and operational limitations inherited from the previous administrations. One major challenge was how to get the buses procured by the former APC administration back on the roads. The buses were in derelict positions due to mismanagement and abandonment. To ensure the ministry fulfill a core mandate of a social service-oriented transportation policy, the state government gave a marching order that ensured the refurbishment of 19 buses, now christened Imole buses, to reactivate public transportation in major cities of the state and assuage the needs of commuters for cost-effective movement to and from their homes. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transportation, Mr. Isiaka Adekoke Yahaya, told Living Spring Update that Governor Ademola Adeleke's immediate response was aimed at preventing government properties from going into waste while at the same time ensuring a husbanding of scarce resources to make transportation of persons, goods, and services mass-oriented.
When the government came on board, the buses can be described as carcass. They were they were broken down. They were grounded. But when this government came in, so the government was informed that there was a need for these buses to be refurbished and put back on the road. So as a result of the magnanimity of the state government, some funds were supplied to the ministry and we refurbished all the 19 out of the buses. And all the 19, not less than 17 of them are on the road now. They are working well. So refurbish, and we continue to repair them so that there won't be any break in their movement. We have 2 in Ife and Modeke, and up to this morning, the 2 of them are working perfectly well, and people are enjoying the buses. The same thing with there. We have 2 buses working there, and they are doing well. We have 4 buses working in Osogbo, and they are doing. Even the civil servants and the students and masses in the city of Osogbo are enjoying the buses. You can go to the town and check for yourself. They are there.
The Ministry of Transportation is not unmindful of the high cost of operation and maintenance of vehicles, apart from the skyrocketed cost of fuel brought about by the removal of subsidy on petroleum products by the Tinubu administration. The ministry, according to the permanent secretary, is putting all on the table to key into the initiatives that will reduce operational expenses, which make investments in transportation precarious. While the ministry is working towards fulfilling its core objectives, Mr. Isiaka Adegoke Yahaya said the state government is not relenting in its drive to make the ministry respond to latest technologies and human capacity requirements of public transportation.
We have been on these CNG buses or vehicles. We have been making some talks. We have been talking to the relevant people in that area. And we believe that the last time we had a talk with them, they promised us that before the end of this September, so where this compressed natural gas will be available for this motorists will be established in Osun State, and that is around the stadium area, Bufas filling station there. That after the establishment of this center, then the buses will be supplied to the state. And hopefully, we are still making contact and we are still meeting. Very soon, the CNG buses will be in the state. We also talked to some business organizations with regards to tricycle using CNG approach. So they promised us we are about to get into agreement with them so that they will supply the tricycles to us. The state government will be a kind of go-between the people that will be using the tricycles and the business people that will supply the tricycles. So the state government is not relenting in its efforts to make transportation easy in the state, in the area of tricycle using CNG and the buses using CNG. So very soon, Osun State will have CNG buses and tricycles in the state.
It will be recalled that public transportation in Osun State faced serious problems related to breach of peace and security, which arose from succession dispute within and among the various transport unions in the state. Bloody fracas was the common signal of leadership control and successions for supremacy among transport chieftains in most periods of 12-year administrations of All Progressives Congress APC in Osun State. Today, the ugly decimal is now a thing of the past, with the establishment of Osun State Transport Management Scheme to coordinate transport unions and ensure that the operations align with government's laid-down regulations for unhindered public transportation with peace, security, and well-being of the people as priorities. Osun State Commissioner for Transportation spoke on how its collaboration between government and unions has enabled the ministry to focus on measures that will reposition public transportation without deviating from its social service obligations.
Ministry of Transportation, being a baby ministry, it was carved out from, formerly it was Ministry of Works and Transport. Formerly it was Office of Transportation, but let's say about more than 1.5 years ago. So the ministry was created, and the mandate given to the ministry is to see to the affairs of means of transportation in the state. All aspects of transport in terms of the tricycle, the vehicle movement, airport, and sea movement. So that's the mandate of the ministry. When I assumed office on the 17th of July 2023, actually, it was an office, so it doesn't look like a ministry. So immediately I came to the office. I have to do what we call upgrading. That is upgrading of all the offices, then upgrading of the duties of the ministry. And I thank God today, at least we have met with the standard of all the Ministry of Transportations across Nigeria. On issue of vehicle testing stations, immediately we came on board, there's no functioning testing station in the state. So on PPP, we constructed a vehicle station at Okedio side, and in which the governor commissioned around about 6 months ago, so that any vehicle that want to collect or do the renewal of their vehicle particulars, they will go there, do the testing, and if they have any issues, so that they will give them the report so that can take it to the nearby mechanics. Then thirdly, there is a collaboration between all the Southwest states, because we are planning to do Southwest railing, that is Lagos, Ogun, Oyo, Osun, Ondo, Ekiti, so that if we are moving any goods from Lagos, at least you can easily go to all the states. So we are working on that, and I think by the special grace of God, we are going to achieve it soon. Then we are working on airport construction too. So on airport construction, it entails a lot, it requires a lot of money. So, but by the special grace of God, by next year, we are going to start it fully. We have various transport unions, but the Osun State government embarks on OSTMS, that is Osun State Transport Management Scheme. So, and that we have been operating, and there have been a good synergy, at least between all the unions and the transport managers, because these transport managers, they are to oversee all the other unions, in which the OSTMS management was led by Aluwole and the co-executive. So within them, there's no problem. But as a transporter, it has been their habit. So we cannot say that at times we may be hearing one or two things. Formally, if they want to take guys like that, they will use gun, use cutlasses. But presently, we are under control, and everybody is under the administration of the OSTMS.
Refurbishing the Mole buses generated heated arguments fueled by the opposition All Progressive Congress, which questioned what it called high costs expended on the refurbished buses. 28 million naira was spent to put the buses on the roads, as against the huge figures bandied by the opposition.
They are oppositions. They can never see any good in any functioning government. This government is working seriously. Our governor is talk and do governor. The buses, we spend just 28 million naira to refurbish 19 buses. 19 buses. And if you see the condition we made those buses, I'm telling you, it's as bad as anything. Usually you can go and look at it outside. So we spent 28 million. Most of the vehicles, we bought engines, we bought tires, we do all the panel beating work, then we do the painting. So if you look at it, it's on. So for any opposition will not see any good in it. But we as a government, we know that at least what we did is at least for the uses of the masses. Especially when the price of petrol goes up now, at least many people in the town, but they are hailing this government because it is a good program. So for any opposition, don't ever expect any opposition. We praise this government. So About operation, just leave it. You know, there's a adage in Yoruba, only Otaini Okepa Oduoya. So that's about the opposition. But I can tell you precisely, the money we spent on that, on the refusal of the buses, was spent judiciously.
The Transportation Ministry is committed to a transportation policy which is in conformity with modern transportation system that will ease the needs of commuters, particularly in urban centers of the state. Honorable Yakubu Adejare, Special Advisor to Governor Demola Adeleke on Transportation, spoke extensively on the machineries being put in place to establish a public transportation system which will advance the interest of all stakeholders by encouraging equal level playing ground among players in the industry.
At the management level, at the Ministry of Transportation, we have observed the same thing, and what we intend doing is to concentrate on Osogbo metropolis, so that we have enough and functioning bus stop within the Osogbo metropolis. When you talk about bus stops, major towns that are really in a serious need of bus stops after Osogbo, we talk about Ife, Ilesha, Iwo, perhaps Ikirun. We have planned to make it mandatory, and we have already inserted into our next year budget plan, which we translate into action as soon as everything is finalized. This class of people, I mean Okada riders, we do not relent in our efforts to give them consistent information about about the negative activities of some of these Okada riders. Not all of them, just some bad eggs among them. We have this jacket, Okada rider jacket. This jacket is a means of identifying individual Okada rider. So with the jacket, you see the number. With that number, it contains the data of every Okada rider. And our OSUN people, you can see them at Olaya and at some major point in Osogbo. I think they are there to enforce some traffic rules, especially as regards to those Okada riders. Now, for those who are used, to using that divider, that little space at the divider to make U-turn and some other activities, we have been warning them through their organization. That's OSTMS, headed by Adogbono. We issue constant warning on radio, on TV, because it is not only dangerous for them, and it is also dangerous for those passengers that are patronizing them, and dangerous for the state at large. And we don't want to lose anybody, because everybody is important in our state. Then we had a proliferation of unions, 4 or 5 of them, supremacy fights almost every day. Immediately the governor assumed office, he brought that activity under control and under a single umbrella of that we call referred to as OSTMS, OSUN State Transport Management System, headed by by Aluwonle, Nuruddin Aluwonle. Since then, we do have constant meeting with them at the ministry. Even we do go to their office in Osogbo here, whenever we have information, that we deem it fit that it should circulate, among the members. So their state office is around the Uweba area. We will go there to have meeting with them. With that, we have been able to bring their activities under control. So that is why we have a relative peace among them. Because you cannot hear anything like a battle for supremacy. Somebody is carrying cutlass somewhere to attack somebody somewhere.
Modern motor parks, bus terminals, airports, vehicle line parks, computerized automobile testing stations, compressed natural gas (CNG) buses are pivotal to an efficient, cost-effective transportation policy. The Ministry of Transportation said it is prepared to key into all this. The ministry is equally committed to expand the human capacity requirement of public transportation in next year's budget. Optimism is high as Governor Ademola Adeleke looks up to the second stage of a successful first term and climbing the ladder of a second term in office. That's it today on Liverpool Update episode 11. It's been interesting sharing our findings on Adeleke administration's success story on public transportation with you. My name is Tomilola Daniel. Join us next week for another edition. Bye for now.
Spring Update is a production of the Office of the Spokesperson to the Governor, Governor's Office, Osogbo.